Hello, my dear friends. I'm back. This is Gary Lucien. Welcome to Gary Lucien Show. It is a privilege to be here today and talking to you. You all know this country become very, very difficult. This is why today the topic again is immigration. And we know there are many people from the Caribbean, like Haiti, Jamaica, some people from Dominican Republic, some from St. Lucia, Dominica, other islands like Barbados and even Martinique, Guadeloupe. These people, they have been hurt the fact that the immigration system has been changed under this administration. Beginning August 15, 2025, the fact that you have bad conduct, you do not qualify to become a citizen. But bad conduct today is not enough for this administration. They're talking about you have to be a person of good moral character, which means if you have DUI, meaning driving under the influence, it could be alcohol, drugs, you can have big problem to become a citizen. If you have several misdemeanors or one felony, you could be in trouble to become a citizen. A person who's been using government fund, for instance, getting assistance or from the government, like food stamp, Medicaid, Medicare, if not necessary, which means if you doesn't have an emergency or if you're not disabled, okay, it could affect you getting your naturalization process. A lot of people wonder if that is the case, which means if you are permanent residents, if you're a permanent resident, you cannot get help from the government. That's the question they ask. And I agree with them. In some cases, they say if you've been a resident for 5 years, you can, or you could. But to become a citizen, this is the problem. They're going to check everything about you. They're going to check your background. And when they check your background, some of the things that we mentioned here could cause some problem in order for you to become a resident. And there are things that if you were involved in them, like we're talking about the DUI, we're talking about other things, you would have to bring proof that you're a new person, like you changed. For instance, if you live with your mother, father, brother, sister, or other family members, it could be friends that you grew up with, people in your church, or people you live with. They have to do affidavit stating that they know you and you changed for the last 20, 30 years or whatever it is, to show that you are eligible or you qualify right now to become a citizen in the United States. One thing we do know, they will not permit you to become a citizen if you're a person of, you're not a person of good moral character, which means if you're doing things consistently, bad things. Like I said, to prove that you're not in that situation anymore, you have to prove that between this date to this date that you were not involved in such things and you clean your act. It is very important to show that to the immigration in order to become a citizen of the United States, regardless of how long you've been here, regardless of how your situation is. The thing is right now that bothers people so much is that the Justice Department is very aggressive, prioritizing effort to strip some Americans of their U.S. citizenship. Now, we were talking about to become a citizen. Now, they're trying to strip your citizenship away from you. And we all know people work very, very hard to become a citizen. Some people came here when they were kids, and then they grew up here. They went to school here, primary, secondary school. They went to college, and then they committed a crime or did something when they were like 17, 18, 19, 20. And then somehow they paid for what they did. For instance, if they had to go to jail, if they had to be in probation, they paid the fees and everything. And today, because of this new government, they can strip your citizenship away from you for that matter. I don't think it's fair, and many people doesn't think it's fair. However, it is not up to us to think or to decide. I'm sure you understand where I am coming from. It is not up to us because they decided that's what they're going to do. From my point of view, what I see is that if a person is a resident or a U.S. citizen, you commit a crime, because there's petty crimes that they are not big things. You can, if you go into jail for a day or two or even a month or whatever it is, you pay for what you did, and then you're being punished for it. And when you do, most of the times, you change your ways. You don't do the same thing anymore. You learn. Some people were made to do things every day. That's how they live. But a good citizen can make a mistake, can do something that he really regret that he did it. And you have, as a government or the authority, you have to be able to determine this person become new, he worked on his craft, and he is doing the right thing, especially for people who have families. Like some people have a wife, kids, and they doing the right things. I don't think these people should be punished the same way as criminals who keep committing crimes constantly. The department leadership, attorneys, their priority is to denaturalize in case involving naturalized citizen who committed certain crimes. We talk about it in giving U.S. attorney wider discretion. They give some of the people discretion to pursue different tactics in order to do that to good citizen. According to June 11 memo published online, you can check it out. The move is aimed at U.S. citizens who were not born here in this country in the United States. According to data 2023, we had 25 millions of naturalized citizens. Today, it's over 30 millions naturalized citizens. You know why? Because under Mr. Biden administration, what they did, many people think it's the time to file to become a U.S. citizen due to the fact that under the Trump administration, the first term, which was, I believe, in 2020 and up, many people realized that Mr. Trump is not playing. He is going to do what he said that he was going to do. However, even though he was not in power for the last 4 years that was passed, or 4 years, people thought that he might, become president again, because he was always talking about to file again to become president. So many people under Biden administration filed for citizenship, and we have a bunch of people that became citizens from that point on. It is very important for us to know that denaturalized, it's something that's going on today, and we have example of what they do to people that they don't want to keep in the system as a citizen. We have an example, at least one person been denaturalized in recent weeks, and we can talk about it because it is very important to know. On June 13th, in recent months, I should say, a judge ordered revocation of citizen of Elliot Duke. Elliot Duke. Guess what? Duke is an American citizen. He was in the military, a veteran. He's originally from UK, from UK, and he was in the military. But what he did, he was convicted because he was distributing child sexual abuse material, something they later admitted they were doing prior to becoming a citizen. Now, the problem is when people did things prior to become a citizen, according to them, when you fill out the form N400, which is the form to file to become a citizen, you must declare or say that you committed certain crime, because they ask you question. There are many questions in the form in regard of what you did in the past. Now, if you knew you did something, you did not report it, there is a problem. It can become complicated when they find out, and they do find out in some cases. The reason why I say that, when you apply to become a citizen of the United States, what they do, they check your background, they check everything about you. They even go to the file where you file for your first card in this country, I mean work permit, work authorization on their whatever program. If you file an adjustment package to become a resident, like someone in like your daughter or your son may file for you, or your wife, or it could be your husband too. When you file this application, and they check your background, they still have all the documents in file. When they need it, they can pull everything out. These days, you can check your file out. You can go to the system on the FOIA. You can request everything about yourself. I suggest people who's filing for citizenship these days, you can go to FOIA, you fill out an application. It used to take 6 months, a year before you can get it back. I think an attorney filed a lawsuit against the immigration in order for them to get it quicker. Now, sometimes you get it less than a month, which is good. So if you're doing something, if you're thinking about filing to become a citizen, it's recommended to get your record from the immigration. That way you will know exactly what you said or what you wrote on the applications that you filed from the past. When I say from the past, from the beginning of working with the immigration in this country, in order for you to know everything about yourself that you said. Because most of the times, most people doesn't remember what they say in their previous applications. I don't remember. And I go to interviews with people, I watch them, they don't have a clue of what they said in the first application they filed. For instance, I went to an interview with a lady not long ago. Guess what happened? She filed for asylum in her case. But when they asked her a question about, have you ever been involved with any organization such as political, a bunch of things, press, media, guerrilla organization, a bunch of organization it mentioned, she didn't remember a thing. I looked through the file in front of the officer. I see she was involved with a political organization. However, she didn't remember a thing. Therefore, it is very, very important for you to look at your case or your file before you go in front of immigration to become a citizen. We have to remember, when you apply to become a citizen, they will check your background. Like they say, naturalization is a tactic that was heavily used, denaturalization, during the McCarthy era of the late 1940s and the 1950s. And one of that was expanded during the Obama administration. A lot of people say, why Obama? Why Mr. Obama was working so hard during his era to denaturalize people? Oh, he's all people. Why would he do that? No. A lot of people don't understand, when you're president of the United States, there's certain things, it's a mission they give you many times to accomplish. They handle you a document stated, that's what I want you to do during this period. And you have to do it. A lot of times you have to determine, hey, which people that I'm going to deport. Mr. Obama deported many criminals. And like I said, during McCarthy's era, the 40s and the 50s, they came up with denaturalization. It was big. But Mr. Obama came and he was working with denaturalized people. He has a crew and everything. But it wasn't as big as the way Mr. Trump is doing it. His goal is to deport 1 million people a year. In order to deport 1 million people a year, you have to have a lot of help, a lot of money, because it costs a lot of money to not only denaturalize, take green card away from people, look for criminals. It takes a lot. And as you know, he said if the big beautiful bill didn't pass, his agenda, it was like nothing, died. Because they passed it, they gave him an opportunity to have over about $400 billion deal, close to $400 billion. That's a lot of money. That's enough money to build countries like St. Lucia over and over again, like Martinique, Guadeloupe, even Haiti, Jamaica, to rebuild the country. That's a lot of money. So with that kind of money, a big portion of it goes to immigration. When it goes to immigration, now he has the opportunity to get investigators, to have judges, to have facilities to put the people, and enough money to put in airplanes to deport people. And there's a lot more things involved, because you have to have more immigration facility. You have to have a lot more officers to process the cases, because some cases, they've been in what they call backlog for over 14 years, 15 years, since President Clinton. Obama came, President Obama came, Mr. Biden came, and even Mr. Trump. However, it is very important to know these people were in backlog. They try to process them as soon as possible. They even try to process people who file today. In a few weeks, they want to process them. And they attempted some people who were on the proceeding, which means they were on this what they call deportation proceeding, and court. They tried to remove the proceeding, close the case, dismiss the case, and then try to deport the people. Now, if you're in this country, they dismiss your case, and some of the people were on the TPS, some of the people were on the some type of relief, and it's done. It's expired. Therefore, you become illegal because you have nothing to protect you. And if they dismiss your case in court, you could be under removal and you could be deported with no problem. In that case, more people will be deported because his goal is to get to 1 million. So under the era McCarthy, and like I said, it gets to President Obama, and then Mr. Trump came. He was trying to deport a lot of people. It means to strip citizenship from those who may have lied about their criminal conviction or membership or illegal group, like the Nazi Party or Communist Party during McCarthyism, on their citizenship application. Like, you could be a citizen for years. They don't have any problem deporting you if you made a single lie in your application, if you lied about certain things. It is very difficult. Assistant Attorney General Brett A. Shumate wrote in the memo that pursuing denaturalization will be among the agency's top 5 enforcement priority for civil division. Can you imagine? Civil division, and it's one of the top 5 priority that they have now. Denaturalize people who works real hard for this country to be denaturalized in a blink of an eye. Not too long ago, I traveled outside the United States, came back. Guess what? They checked everyone. As you know, I am an immigrant. I become a citizen of the United States. So I am a target as well. While I was coming in, they make you put your face in something like a tablet, the size of a tablet, and the officer is checking you on the other side, and he has to give you green light based on what I see in regard to, which means I could be stopped right there and send me to wherever they send people that has a problem, and maybe later I would face what they call deportation proceeding. Now, if that's the case, if you had something that was terrible, or sometimes people do things under your name you don't even know, people steal people's identity. Your identity could be stolen, and people do a lot of things with it that you're not aware of. So that's what we're facing today. This is why I think it's unfair to deport people who've been here for 30, 40, 50 years for something. It could be for something they don't even know. Now we're going to talk about the civil division. They say it shall prioritize and maximally pursue denaturalization proceeding in all cases permitted by law and supported by the evidence. Now, the focus on denaturalization is just the latest step by the Trump administration to reshape, he said, to reshape the nation immigration system across all levels of government, tuning into a major focus across multiple federal agencies that has come with redefining who is let into the United States or has the right to be an American citizen. Since his return to office, the president has sought to end birthright citizenship and scale back refugee program. Now, what we understand in this is in all levels, which means a police officer can stop you on the street and check your identity, check your, what are you, if you are resident, your status, your immigration status, if you're a resident of the United States or if you are citizen of the United States. Now there's distinction. They can check to see if you're a naturalized citizen or if you're a U.S. born citizen. Now they have two classes of citizen. Why do we say that? Because if you're a naturalized citizen, you automatically can be stopped and taken away just for being a citizen, naturalized citizen. Okay? They classified it. You have to be a U.S. born citizen in order for you to talk about other stuff, like if you violate a traffic law. It is very interesting. Since his return in office, that's what he wants to do. Now, he redefining like who they should let into the United States, even if you're a U.S. citizen, if you're a U.S. resident, you travel, you have a problem when you're coming back. Unless if they see you clean. But remember I mentioned earlier that your identity could be stolen. And if that's the case, you can be processed to go to jail or to go to their facility, facility based on what you did. It is very important to understand this, that it's no joke. It's something they really, really talk about, and they really mean to work with people all across the country to denaturalize people. The Trump administration built a national citizenship data system, but immigration law experts expressed serious concern about the effort's constitutionality and how this could impact families of naturalized citizens. How could it impact families of naturalized citizens? Let's say if I'm a citizen, naturalized citizen, and I go to Martinique, for instance, or St. Lucia, or Dominica. I have a child there. I got someone pregnant, and I have a child there. Now, the child who is a child of a naturalized citizen become a citizen as well when you file the proper document to bring the child here with a U.S. passport. While the child living here, they find out I did something 30 years ago. They denaturalize me. What happened to the child? Because he's a child of a naturalized citizen. Those are questions the Trump administration or the people involved with this denaturalization doesn't talk about. They don't answer those questions, which means everybody down this line could be in trouble. Can you imagine they denaturalize me today? 5 years, 6, 10 years later, they denaturalize my son because he got his naturalization under me. It is a big problem. Like I said, the federal government will pursue denaturalization cases via civil litigation, which is another big deal. It is a special concern. It is a special concern. I think Cassandra Robertson, a law professor at Case Western Reserve University, because when you say via civil litigation, there's certain rights you don't give people, and it is not, everybody can see it is not fair except people who are anti-immigrants. Because in civil proceedings, any individual subject to denaturalism is not entitled to an attorney. And in the United States, the way it works, if you don't want to answer certain question, you say you plead the fifth or whatever it is, you say you want to be present or you want to express yourself in front of an attorney. they have to provide you with an attorney. In those cases, they say you don't have, they're not going to provide it. They're not going to give you, you're not entitled to an attorney. Okay? Robertson said also, the attorney that I just mentioned earlier, there is also a lower burden of proof for the government to reach, and it is far easier and faster to reach a conclusion in the cases. Now, you remember I mentioned that to you. The goal of the Trump administration is to deport people as fast as possible. They want to speed up everything. In the case of a person they can pick on the street, and the person doesn't know anything about immigration. I have people I spoke to in the past. As I mentioned, there are options. You can file a petition, or you can do an asylum. The asylum have 5 criteria. You can file under like opinion, race, religion, nationality, or social group, or it could be political as well. Now, most people I talk to about that, they don't have a clue about what it is, what they can do. Okay? And I have people that I talk to about the statement of the law, who talks about how you can obtain your green card through that process. If you don't know, you can't do nothing. Suppose they pick up someone like that. You remember we mentioned about via civil litigation. That person doesn't know anything, don't have an attorney. That person will be in deep trouble because that person would not know how to help himself or themselves. It's very important for you to know that if you don't know and you're in a situation like that, there's 1 or 2 things that can happen to you. Put in that cage they have, and then deport you. Now, if that's the case, many people, including Ms. Robinson, they say they violate your due process because you're supposed to be processed the right way to get the attorney of your choice and to present in front of the immigration according to the right guarantee by the 14th Amendment. It is very important. You have to be able to express yourself and conduct yourself the right way and do the smart thing by getting an attorney who understands the law, the immigration law, and who can protect you in some ways, regardless of what, regardless if you committed a crime or if you didn't know you apply for citizenship, you have the right to say, hey, this is not right and I need to become a citizen because that's what I want. I mean, if you're not qualified legally by the law, then you have to accept it. Now, you know that they come up with the birthright citizen. If you have a child in this country, even if you have paper, which means work authorization, and you're under a program, if you're not a resident, I believe, or a U.S. citizen, they try to not consider your child as a citizen. People protest or rallies in front of the Supreme Court, and nothing has changed. However, on June 27, 2025, the Supreme Court did not rule on President Trump's controversial executive order, but it did limit lower court ability to block executive actions with universal injunction, which means when he filed what he filed to take away citizenship from people who have kids born in the United States, they didn't block him from doing that. As a matter of fact, they tried to block the lower court judge, which are usually federal judges, and but they let him proceed with what he was doing. We don't know how it's going to end, what is the outcome going to be. However, they gave him the right to continue with his objective, which is not letting people, illegal people, or people who are here not U.S. resident or U.S. citizen, to have the right to have a child who was born here to become citizen. It is not right because I think there's a code of law that says that if a person was born on the territory of the United States, that person is automatically a U.S. citizen. Not become a U.S. citizen, automatically a U.S. citizen. And this is why they try to come up with things stating that there's something in the law that stated that people didn't understand because they didn't define exactly where or why it should not be. Therefore, he's trying to, with his people, with his crew, to make sure these people don't get don't get to be a U.S. citizen automatically. It is very important. During the conversation, Hans von Spakovsky with the Conservative Heritage Foundation support the denaturalization effort. He said, "I do not understand how anyone could possibly be opposed to the Justice Department taking such action to protect the nation from obvious predators, criminals, and terrorists." In that case, he may be right to protect the nation from predators, criminals, and terrorists, but he is wrong because he wants people who works real hard all their lives to become citizen and to take their citizenship away from them from a blink of an eye. If the person stole a candy, okay, for instance, if a person has even a DUI, if the person has 3 misdemeanors, okay, a felony, that person shouldn't be stripped of his citizenship. It could be punished for the crime he committed, for the things that he did. And most of the time, some people, when they punish for a crime, they become a better citizen, much better than many of us. So therefore, we know it's not fair. As far as the due process is concerned, what they come up with when there were questions, especially Mr. Spakovsky, he said nobody prevent these aliens to hire their own lawyer to represent them. They are not entitled to get the government lawyer. But we know this country. We know that in most cases, a great percentage, if you can't afford a lawyer, an attorney, and in many cases, that the government has to provide an attorney for you. This is why we pay taxes in this country. And many times, the tax that we've been paying all our lives, I could say, it should serve us when we need it. I think it is important for them to know that. We pay the taxes. And the percentage of immigrants in this country is far more than 50%. In fact, immigrants build this country. So if we build this country, the money, the provider of the money are immigrants. The providers of the money are immigrants. So if we make the country work, the money from our hard labor, we should be able to use it properly. That's my point of view. And I'm sure all of you who's watching the show are concerned about that and think that we should be able to do that. And doing that by saying they will not provide an attorney for you to defend yourself, that is not due process, you know. Now, since all immigration matters are civil matters, and you know that is not due process. It's include American citizen, and they say they are entitled to government furnished lawyers in any type of civil matters. That's what I said. We should be furnished lawyers in any type of civil matters. In any type of civil matter. So therefore, we should get attorneys when it comes to this type of case. And when they confronted them in regard of the civil thing, Mr. Trump White House declined to comment for the story. They didn't want to talk about it. According to the new memo, they expanded the criteria of which crime put individual at risk of losing their citizenship. That includes national security violations and committing act of fraud against individual or against the government, like Paycheck Protection Program loan fraud or Medicaid or Medicare fraud. Now, we all know that if you take money from the government, they think it's a big deal because they want to protect their assets, everything they have. I don't have any problem with that. But when it comes to, like I said, strip someone from their citizenship, I think if a person got help from, if the person was sick, if someone is sick, you got help from the government to obtain Medicaid or Medicare, even if you lie, you see you didn't have enough money, but they realize you make a little more money than what you said you made, they can penalize you like penalty and interest, what they call compound interest on the money you took. But I don't think that's worth to strip someone from their citizenship. I'm not trying to encourage anyone to do this type of thing, but sometimes you're in a situation you do need help from the government. They have to be aware of that. They have to consider that. But it is very important to understand that people going to do that, and they can ask them to pay back with interest. But as far as strip people from their citizenship, I don't think it's fair. This administration is plotting out how they're going to expand their use in ways that we have not seen before. And I'm sure you see things that you have not seen before. It's very shocking and very concerning, said Samira Hafiz. She is policy director of the Immigrant Legal Resource Center, a national advocacy organization providing legal training and immigration law. I suggest everybody who's watching to check her out because you can learn a lot. Like I said, even them who've been in the immigration side or practicing immigration for a long time, never seen this type of thing before. You remember we talk about the 40s and the 50s when they came up with denaturalization. It never was the way it is today because they're doing things that some people think it's unfair. Some people think that the government should protect people, not hurting people. And right now, a lot of people are hurting due to the fact that they take their permanent resident status away from them or citizenship. Other immigrant experts point out another part of the guidance, which give U.S. Attorney Buder discretion to determine other eligibility for denaturalization cases. These categories do not limit the civil division from pursuing any particular case. The memo states and priorities for denaturalization can include any other cases referred to the civil division that the division determines to be sufficiently important to pursue. Right now, it's not just DHS, Department of Homeland Security, but the division can pursue someone if they think it's an important case. The person has something to be processed. It is very, very, very sad to know. And other people talk about it the other way. They don't think it's fair. They don't think they should have the discretion to determine or decide whom to target. It is not fair to some people. To some people, it is not fair, and I agree with them. And we should all work together and to see if we can overcome this. How can we work together is to talk to organizations who are involved. There are many people who understand the law. They can help you understand what to do in case you've been picked up, or if you have, in case they pick you up, and in case people that you know been picked up, how you can help them. It is very important to know that togetherness is very good. You can accomplish a lot like that. And I'm asking you to check the website or phone numbers where you can call to get help in case you have someone involved in this, or in case you're an immigrant, or in case you're a naturalized citizen. We're not going to stay too long. We're going to tell you next week. We're going to do the second part of this denaturalization because it's 10 pages. We go through 5. We have 5 more to go through. And we like to tell you this show is presented to you by LUCIEN. LUCIEN is a company, supplement company that we've been exist for about 2 years now, I should say. We've been naturalists for over 30 years, 31 years, and we are working to help people live longer and healthier. LUCIEN has about 20 or over 20 products in the market right now. We have product that, for instance, we have product that helps supplement that's helped with blood pressure. Very good product, all natural and organic for people who are diabetic, for people who have blood sugar high, that'll help. We have for cholesterol, we have for kidney and liver, we have some for if you want to lose weight. Very, very good stuff. They're all natural and organic, like I said. We have some for asthma, and we have some for eyes, if you have problem with your eyes, watery eyes, and others. We also have things for women who cannot, fertile women that cannot get pregnant. You can use the product. That'll help you a whole lot. We have some for brain support that would help you memorize. People who have dementia, Alzheimer, it will help. We have some for bones and joints. People who's in pain all the time, who cannot walk. That will help a whole lot, the joint support. We have some for skin and hair. We also have 3 new products. We have one for fever and cold, that people who have the flu, who's coughing, it helps a whole lot. We have one It's called detox, but it's really help people with gas, acid, and anything you have in your system. It's even have you balance your weight because it's clean you up in a way that is unbelievable. It's unbelievably good. And we also have ones that have supplement that help people from preventing having cancer. Or if you have cancer, you can use it as well. These products are made well. They made locally. If you need some, you can call 561-541-5004. We can help you getting them if you're in the north side of Palm Beach. If you're in the south side, you can call 561-265-3269. And we do shipping, and we have a website. We're going to put it up soon, and we have a 1-800 number for you to use. We're going to give you all of it, and you can contact us wherever you are. We can provide them for you. We have 2 locations that you can get it. I'm in Lake Worth at 920 South Dixie Highway, Lake Worth, Florida, 33460, and in Delray Beach, Florida, 229 Southeast 2nd Avenue, Delray Beach, Florida, 33444. Don't forget, if you need your immigration, your tax done, same location, same phone number. My cell phone is 561-541-5004. We thank you, and we'll see you next week, same time.